Okay, let me check out. It seems that we are live, but sometime there is a problem. Yeah, so we are live. So welcome to
Yeah, thank you.
Tejas
Good evening.
DFO Assam State Zoo, and it's an honor to meet you over for the first time. We are meeting over electronic media. So tell me, because you know that we have already discussed that why we are doing this series of program, and it's because to promote the government's initiative to make people stay home, and we are trying to
Okay.
contribute in our own way so that the staying at home can be some fruitful in certain ways, like we can impart some knowledge in different topic. And because lots of people were very much interested to know lots and lots of thing about zoo, so you will get lots of questions, I'm sure. So
All right.
before we start, like as for all of you, like there are many new young boys and girls viewing this program. So at the very beginning, I want to know, like, what motivated, like, you are still very young and you are now in DFO position. So what motivated you in the case, in the first place, to be taking up this IFS?
See, basically, IFS, initially while I was in college, probably I hardly knew about the government services. So we were all enjoying that phase of college. So then
Hmm.
after that, when it came to career, so I studied in Mangalore, and also my native place is in Karnataka. So it's in Mysore. So it's
Yes.
like in the outskirts of forest areas. So somewhat it was quite interesting. So initially, I had not seriously thought about it. So then I wrote the exam. Then when I went into the training part, that's when I actually got motivated. So that's when, like, I still remember our first introductory tour. First time when we were sent into forest, we had to stay inside the camp for the first time. We were there for a week, and then it was a tiger area, Ranthambore. So it was very exciting. I mean, I realized that this is quite a different life. It's actually quite exciting and very close to nature. Sort of, it really attracted. So since then, I've been actually more keen on wildlife, and I would prefer to be in this in wildlife field.
So why I ask this question? Because there is a format that all the one who are coming, we are asking that, because that initiates something in the one who are very new to the field or who are just
Mhm.
studying. They can also choose this profession and may do something very good only based on this interview, may change their life as well. There is a chance. So my question is, like, there are so many field of expertise that I you on once told me that you also wanted interested in Indian Foreign Service,
Yes.
and then from Foreign Service it's still it is IFS, but you went to another route and became this India inside Indian Forest Service. So do you regret, or you are very happy that you choose this?
No, in fact, see, as I told that during since college, I had not thought about that. I'll be coming to services. So it's
Hmm.
only after, like, in fact, I had got selected in Satyam, and unfortunately, it was 2009, and that fiasco. So that.
So that is good. I think that was the best thing has happened. Out of Satyam, something great has happened.
Hello, are we
Hello,
on?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
then I saw that some of them are going into services. So initially, I was fascinated by foreign service. I started preparing for it. Then, when I got selected in forest service, even then initially I thought, like, once I go to academy, I'll prepare for foreign service. But then when I entered academy, when I started going to forest areas, that, as I said, introductory tour was really that was a turning point. I realized that this is somewhat quite different. Like, this is actually, I mean, there was some sort of a greater connect with real world, and in terms of nature, and some sort of that excitement, that happiness, that you know I really liked it, being staying around with
So,
wildlife.
so
So
you
probably it's like, So since I liked it, I stayed there. So there is no regret. In fact, I am enjoying it.
So tell me one thing. You are from Karnataka, and how come that you chose Assam as one of your area of profession?
See, this is one in a service. It's like this is we have to opt for our states. It's a cadre which we get selected to. So obviously, Karnataka was obviously my first preference. Then it was down the line. And in fact, like I think sixth or seventh, I was placed in Assam. So basically, it depends on rank, vacancies, and everything. So that's how I got I came into Assam. But in fact, I after coming here, what I can say is that if somebody is interested in wildlife, probably Assam is the best state. In fact, there is no other state which has such diversity as compared to Assam. In fact, if you look at its forest wildlife areas, each wildlife areas is unique in itself. This in many other in probably even other states there are very good natural park, very good for wildlife areas, but most of it are quite similar to one another. But if you look at Assam, Kaziranga is different, Manas is different, Nameri is different, Dibrusekawa is different. It's like so much of diversity. Every time you go and join somewhere, it's like it's like you experience something new. So for wildlife, probably it's like probably I've been lucky to come to the best state for wildlife.
So we are also proud for by your we are
Your voice is
being
not
in.
audible. Is it?
Can you hear now? Is it audible?
One second. Slightly, yeah, fine, no problem. Tell me.
Now it's okay.
All right, yeah, tell me.
We are really happy that to know that our own Assam made you
Can
happy.
we
And
relog in? I think there's some issue with the audio.
uh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Ah, so basically, now for example, now you told me that you started a long part of your initial period you were in Kaziranga. So because Kaziranga is one of the forested area in Assam that everybody covets and everybody wants to visit. So you have seen Kaziranga from a perspective that many of us have never seen. So can you just because many of us has just gone through the trail of jeep safari and that's all. So can you add to that beauty and the dynamism of Kaziranga that you have seen up close?
Well, Kaziranga is a very unique place. It's like luckily I got to work there for almost 11 months under one of the very dynamic officers. Our Subhashit Das sir was there, so I was ACF there. So I worked under him. So I got an opportunity to really spend time in the park. In fact, I really sometimes probably used to stay around 7 to 8 days at a stretch inside the park. So I got to see something quite unique about Kaziranga compared to other areas. It's like Kaziranga is alive. The park itself is not static. It keeps changing. Every time you go there, there is some changes. It's like you have to experience Kaziranga in every season. That is like Kaziranga keeps changing itself, and it's very dynamic. Plus, it has a lot of diversity. It is not only famous for say big species like mega species like tiger, elephant, or rhino. It has a lot of diversity in terms of fishes, reptiles, in terms of even say microfauna, flora. So it's like this landscape is it's worth experiencing. In fact, if someone is interested in wildlife, especially from Assam, I would really, in fact, they should work there in Kaziranga. It's quite unique.
So tell me, because you had a long stay, and I know by your nature you are very field-oriented person. So you have been in field, I know, in Kaziranga. So any incidents that you remember that is worth sharing, your experience in Kaziranga? Maybe something very horrific can also do, like rhino chasing you out of the park. So any such experience?
Yeah, one of the unique one of the in fact yeah terrifying incident was like we were patrolling and we had gone to a camp at around 9 o'clock. So we were staying in a camp. We had gone to another camp. So we were returning at around 10 p.m. in the night in it's like Hath now. So we have to cross because that was a flood season. So almost 90% of the way we have to go through the Hath now, and then a little bit of walking with water at least till your waist level. So it's like when we were boating across that lake, it was, you could I mean, if you look up the sky, it was looking like heaven. It was literally like, it was all water, and there is beautiful sky. So it was
Oh,
all, it was amazing. Then in the last stretch, when we just got down of the boat, so then in front of us there was a rhino and there was a calf. So unfortunately, because of water, the calf was not able to cross. The mother was still standing there, and she was actually warning us not to come close. So we thought we'll wait for some time till it crosses. Till it crosses. Then behind us came another rhino, male probably. So it was like there was rhino in front of us, the rhino in
back.
behind us, and it's like both the sides there's water. Take a slight detour. It was a thick grasses, in like there, and we had to go. We had to evade that rhino mother and the calf. Somehow we actually did that. That was my first experience that time. So it was like we really felt that there was some sort of at one point of view we felt probably something is going to happen that night.
So probably you thought like from metaphorical heaven, you could go to the original one.
Mm-hmm.
From the metaphorical heaven that you used, now
Yeah,
with windows you can really see the original one.
yeah.
So,
It
so,
was
so that
one
was
point of time we
really.
really felt like she's going to attack us.
So yeah, because why I told you these beasts that we see from a long distance, we do not feel their power, but once we are up close and we can find that how limited we are as human being in front of them. So that is really one thing that we always need to take care of.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Still some sort of there is some audio is not clear, but it's okay. I'm trying to manage.
Okay. So now tell me, like after Kaziranga, you came to as a DFO of Assam State Zoo, right? So a Kaziranga is a different story altogether, and then you are suddenly from a one of the biggest natural wildlife habitat, you are coming to a man-made wildlife habitat, one of the biggest of India. So that is a huge transition and leap. So how when once you are like you are given the order that you are coming to become DFO of Assam State Zoo, what was did you visit zoo before that?
uh, as you said, it's two different things. So it's like Kaziranga is different. Actual in situ wildlife areas are like actually quite different. So zoo is a very different place. It's a different kind of a work. Initially,
Huh.
probably I was I when I heard, we probably was slightly shocked when I heard, like, I was not aware what to do. I never had experience of zoo. So then after coming here, I realized, in fact, there is a lot of opportunities. There's a lot of things what we can do in a zoo, because especially considering the human population growing, so zoos are going to be of importance if you are working in a very scientific manner, considering that the resources for the wildlife is dwindling slowly and slowly. So there will be a lot of rescues, a lot of conservation initiatives which will take place in future. And in that sense, like, zoos are going to be quite are going to be very important in future. So luckily I got to learn a lot about the such things in the Assam State Zoo. And also we also, in terms of that is in terms of conservation, also in terms of tourism for Guwahati city. So I feel like zoo has a lot of potential which is still unexplored, and we are trying to contribute so that we can help even the economy of the city to become better. So in a way, it's like, people will also start to develop that affection towards the animal, and will all and also the zoo will also be able to give a better economic benefits to the people.
So presently that we know from media and I personally, can you hear me now?
A little. Can you speak a little louder? Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me? Is it clear now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, so you have taken up some of the activities in zoo that we know. One of that is, like, I have also been a part of it, the nature trail that we go to the top of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
So such activity, not only, like, it's not only about wildlife, but it's also about trekking, fitness, etc. So many people in this list want to know little bit about that trek.
I didn't get you. Last sentence.
Last part is, many people are interested to know about that trek that zoo has organized, and how long is the trek, and what are they like, what would they see in the trek once they are in.
All right. See, zoo is created in this Hingrabari Hills, so it's almost like 175 hectare. So
Correct.
when people have visited the zoo for seeing the animals in the enclosures, so this area where the animals are, so we can say that 150 hectare of the area is still a virgin forest, very beautiful forest. It's made up of three hills. Highest peak is around 240 meters from sea level. So what we have done is we have developed a trek route going across these three hills. So we finally reached the highest point wherein you can see the Saraighat Bridge, Umananda Island, and the complete Guwahati city. So, and while crossing, we can also go across the elephant camp, so you can see the elephants there. So it's like we are trying to, what we are trying to do is that, the remaining 150 area, we don't want to develop into an enclosure. We don't want to develop any enclosures there. So existing area, that will make it better and better for keeping the animals in the enclosure. So remaining 150 hectare, we want to keep it natural, and we will develop such activities wherein people can come and start appreciating nature, start appreciating forest. So that is very important, because once you start to appreciate, then only you will protect. Once you start to realize that it is important, how once you get that personal connect, then only you will start to protect. So we want to develop such activities there. So in fact, I invite all the people, especially in Guwahati, to do visit this, do come for the trek. So we're not now. So once the lockdown is, once it becomes safe, corona safe,
Hmm.
so then you
Yes.
can always come visit the trek. It's like we conduct in the morning. We are also thinking about conducting in the evening trek. So this is a 6 kilometer trail. So it passes through three different hills of the zoo. See, zoo is made of three hills. So, and you can, it's not very easy, not very difficult. It is moderate level, and you will definitely enjoy. There is some sort of an adventure here. So people, whoever has visited till now, they have really appreciated it. So I think
So
this is going to be one of, in future, this is going to be one of the prime attraction. That's what we
true.
believe.
So what we can do is, can we give them, a sneak peek of the zoo tour? I think we
Can we give
can. They
them?
will be. Can we give them a sneak peek how it looks in through this conversation? So what I'll do is, I'll share the screen. You can also
Okay.
see, and they can also see what it's to be like. So I'll just
Okay.
try to share the screen, and so it will be fun. So I'll try. So can you see the whole screen now?
Yeah.
So can you see the zoo thing now?
Yep. Yep. Yes.
Okay, let's give them. Can you? Is it visible? Right? Hello.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see the
Yeah,
things?
yeah, yeah.
Hello.
I'm able to see. Yes,
And can you hear the music or all?
I'm not able to hear the music.
Anyway, just the scene. Okay.
This is the hill on the top of the hill. This is zoo ground level is around its zoo is at 67 meters from sea level. This lake is at around 150 meters from sea level.
And we can see sambar as well, free ranging.
Yeah, a lot of free ranging animals, reptiles, hornbills
And
also sighted sometimes.
yes,
It's a very interesting trail.
yeah, and the terrain looks really for it is
Challenging section of the trail.
comfort. Yeah, comfortable as well as a certain part. These are like little hard. So it's really has a lot of, and this we are almost at the peak, right?
See, when the sky is clear, we can in fact see the Saraigat Bridge from there
Yes,
very
yes.
clearly. Now,
So after,
recently when we went last week, it was so clear. Probably because there is no people on the road, so there is no pollution, so it was very very clear.
so what we can do is after a rain, we can again go there, so we can get even better
This is one of the
view.
viewpoint.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful, lush green, and then we are now returning back.
These
What was the name of this one?
Naren,
Naren. Really very cute.
Naren Babu. So he was a rescued calf. He fell down
Okay,
into a well in Narangi.
okay.
So he was rescued from there. He was half blind when when he came. So now he is able. Now he has recovered. So he's doing good. And our adult elephant Madhavi, she has adopted him. So he has become the adopted son of.
So you are providing, so for the tourists, there's those who go there, they will also get a breakfast, right?
Yeah, we are. That is the plan. It's like
Okay,
morning. We are planning to. In fact, we are thinking of even doing a night trail followed by a dinner, kind of a thing for
great,
the
great,
tourists.
great. So really, this was super. I hope people liked it. So there are some comments already, so that we'll take at the end. So so now I'll come to some of the serious. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So
We are,
now I know a little bit less sound maybe. So my question is like different. We as a visitor, we see only one aspect of the zoo. That is, we are like it's like a computer system. We see the we don't see the operating system. We just see the output, the result. That what is we see tiger, we see so to maintain this zoo, and what is the I want your input on the backstage when the zoo, like zoo starts at what time at because for the visitor it starts like for 9 or whatever, but I think for the zoo awakes much earlier than visitors entry. So can you just go through a very brief idea so that how much effort and how much manpower is required to run this machine which is zoo?
see, zoo is a place where we are handling live animals. You know, it's like and the best way you can handle them is like you need to make them very comfortable and very stress free. So that's why we have in fact asked all the keepers to develop such kind of a bonding with the animals wherein they consider them as a part of their family. So for that, our keepers need to spend a lot of time with the animals. They have to in fact if I could have shared one video wherein there was a golden langur baby, and the keeper is so comfortable that the mother allows keeper to handle the baby. It's very rare in animals. And it's just a five day old baby. So and that kind of
This
a bonding. So that
Confidence.
happens when you spend a lot of time with the animals, interact with them, keep them stress free. So for that, like, and in fact, our keepers day actually starts at 6 o'clock in the morning. So maybe before that also, some of them come before that. So they all come there. So they do that initial sanitizing, cleaning activities, and then they, in fact, early morning, we, especially for birds and all, we always keep food in the early morning, because their birds actually generally like to have food early. It's like at that time. So we provide certain food also. And when their keeper are working in the enclosure, they're generally, we ask them to generally keep interacting with the animal, communicate with them. In fact, primates have responded very well. Cats are also responding excellently. In fact, it's like when they are working in the enclosure, they communicate. We have names for the animal, so we identify with a specific name. So that's how we build some sort of a connect. And also, after that, they go back home. They come back again at 9:30, around that time. So they will be that, then all the food, distribution and everything starts at around 9:30 till it happens till afternoon. So then again,
And
they
then there
even
is
the
also
keepers.
the crowd management.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is that additional crowd management thing.
Yeah, crowd management, that's also there.
So
So, and then the keepers go back for lunch. They come back again. They are there for at least till 5 o'clock in the evening. So basically, in the second half, what we do is we try to make them do certain enrichment activities. Like, generally, for example, if for primates, we try to hide the food or keep the food inside a bamboo stick, so wherein they have to really break open the bamboo stick, to make some effort, think how to get that food. For say bear, we get put honey in the inside the bamboo stake, so that they try to make an effort to get the honey out of it. Regularly we keep doing such enrichment activities, so that animals are also thinking. Animals are also, we don't want to make them feel that at particular
yeah,
time the food is coming and they eat and then they sleep. We don't want to make like
learned
lazy like
behavior. Yes. You want
so
to
probably
promote learned behavior. Yes.
we want to keep them guessing. So that's how they
Engaged.
the and keepers generally try to do those activities in the second half. So that's how it's like every day it's a routine. And for them it's like it's a long day for the keepers. And over here people are doing, some of them are doing excellently. In fact, even keepers are quite good at handling even leopards, not by hand, but at least, like, they respond to their calls. So in fact, that's how we actually feel, if the animals are comfortable with the keeper, generally we see that there's a lot of success in their well-being, in their well-being,
So
breeding and other things.
all this year, did you make friendship with any particular animal? Like the animal knows you or recognizes you, or you are very comfortable, or that individual?
See, for that I could cite the example of our doctor. He was is Dr. Gogoi, and there were we remember that two leopard cubs were rescued. So sometimes I would also speak about why we should not rescue. So
Yes,
later,
very important.
so two cubs were rescued. They were brought in to the zoo, and they had hardly less. They were like less than 8 days, less than a week. They have not yet opened their eyes. So at that point of time, when they don't get their mother support, cats are extremely sensitive. It's very difficult to rear them. So he had Dr. Gogoi has personally taken up in his residence. He had raised them. Today they both have become so big, and you won't believe it, that he can enter the enclosure alone. So they're big cats, and he can enter the enclosure alone. And whenever he comes, I could see that that motherly parental behavior. Like, they are also cats. Or we have a specific name. There are two leopards. We call it Don and Sonu. So both are quite very excited to see him. And you can enter the cage. You can actually feed by hand. So, like, such things, like, it's quite amazing. In
So,
fact, that's how it shows that animals are also very affectionate. And
sure. So have you yourself created any such bonding with any individual animal?
see, we have See, golden langur. There's one golden langur which is very friendly, but generally it's like you have to be there every day to actually
Yeah,
have that
true.
bonding. It's like
Correct,
at
correct,
one particular animal, so it will be
correct.
difficult to actually for me to go inside. Probably
Hmm.
I might get bitten.
But frankly, I know you are because for you, for parents, all the childrens are same. But still, I am asking you a question: which is your the most favorite animal in Assam State Zoo?
See, we have fully the elephant. She is so lively and extreme, like just like a human kid, a 10-year-old human kid. How a 10-year-old human kid behaves. She is 7, 8 years now, and we get the same feeling. It's like we get to interact with her. She's lively, naughty. No, she does all sort of things. Now when Naren came, she even gets jealous that Madhavi is taking more care of Naren. So it's like it's really, I mean, fully I can say is my favorite animal.
Zoo has added another emotional dimension to your life, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I started to appreciate a lot of animal behavior, and so we started to learn a lot about animal behavior. One such incident was that when we were bringing the tiger from, we actually do a lot of animal exchanges with other zoos. So when we were bringing a male tiger from Mysore to Guwahati, we had hired a full bogie, like it's a parcel van which is attached to the express. So it's like we had tiger there,
Full
we
coach.
had two keepers there, and me and doctor also stayed there. So it was a 3-day journey with the tiger. So the tiger was in the cage, but still it's
Uh,
like we could see a lot of how the tiger behaves. It's like when there was no water, he used to make a different noise. When there was water and we used to try to take that cup away, he was not allowing us. He was taking it. It's like it actually, we start to appreciate a lot about animals. That's why we should get a lot of kids here, and also make, not just take them for a round, probably come with a leisure day, spend time with a more a particular animal. In fact, kids will start to appreciate a lot. So in fact, that
Going back
emotion
to your
that emotions are very important for them to become future conservationists.
correct. For most of the kids, it's like that. So going back to your tiger episode in the train, did you ever feel that you were like in the playing a role in life of a pie?
Not so, but yeah, definitely, but it's slight difference.
Uh,
Like
so
for him, there was a sort of a risk. For us,
I know, and there are no unit to save you. So, as Samrat Sengupta actually asked a question, I'll take all of the questions later. But his question,
okay.
I found that I need to take in between because since this episode is done on Corona thing, so because we are trying to make people stay at home and make them learn something while they are staying at home.
Yeah,
So Samrat, I take a leaf out of his question and ask you, like, since coronavirus, that the origin was like animals, and it came from bat and maybe in pangolin, and then because there are quite human contact, so zoo also has such contacts with different animal, where animal can be a reservoir of definite virus, where there can be a chance of what we know as zoonosis, jump of the virus from one animal to another. So do you have any infrastructure in place to mitigate such disasters if god forbid if it happens in future?
see, basically, even before Corona, we had a standard practice that our keeper, before entering the enclosure, he will have a separate footwear, and before entering the enclosure, we have a disinfectant spray, Vircon S. It's quite effective. He sprays all over his body. Then only he will enter the enclosure. Then after entering, he will disinfect the full area. So after that only, it's like he will even provide the food. what all other activities will start. So, and even while leaving, he will disinfect himself, and then he will go to his house. So obviously we are taking a lot of precaution in that sense. Now after corona, we have now intensified it further. In fact, we are going to have a sanitation chamber which is going to come up before the zoo starts. Every visitors who's come in will be asked to enter through the sanitation chamber. So so we are trying to intensify it. So, and yeah, corona, as you can say, that it started with because it's from the animal, but then probably because we have occupied their resources, and it's like in the natural world there is a lot of contacts. So that's the reason. But over here, like,
So
we are taking a lot of precautions, we have intensified it. So a keeper who is handling, for us, his safety is also very important. So that's why we ensure that if he gets, it's a Vircon spray, it's a very good spray, for it kills all types of viruses and bacteria. So he disinfect himself, and before he goes home, we have in fact told him that it is always important that you disinfect yourself, because we don't want either you to get infected or your family members. So that's
so
why. Uh,
on that line, I would like to know, like, there most of them, the one who are handling mammal, like, it's also somewhat related to Samrat question, but a little bit in the other way. So like in mammals, there is a high risk of rabies.
mhm.
So the keepers who are dealing with mammals, are do they have pre-exposure rabies vaccine taken in their case?
Yeah, we have given the vaccinations to them. In fact, all, like, we even they have taken, like, most of them are quite old, so it's like it's a particular season time when they have given the vaccination. So
Okay.
all the required vaccinations have been given to them, and
You were
also
talking
even the
about
animals are
animals.
given vaccination.
Okay, great.
Yeah, even the
So,
animals are given vaccination. So in fact,
okay.
so that we had an incident of CD some couple of years back. So after that, we our local vaccinations cannot work like the what we want, the
Just
vaccinations we use on the
for the for the other viewers who do not know CD, it's canine distemper, right?
canine December. Yes,
Yeah.
canine
So
December. So
so
the local vaccinations available for the dogs, it doesn't work on the wild animals because it is quite a little risky. So we had brought in recombinant vaccines. So Itawa Zoo used to have those vaccines they used to import from US. So we also brought it from them. We have
mm,
now given it to all cats and canine, all felines and canines. And
mm,
that's how, like, any sort of disease which we know that which we have to make our animals also immune to them, so we ensure that they are vaccinated.
okay. Now I come to a little bit, maybe little bit tricky and little bit ethical question. And the question was already, it was there in my list, but already asked by Debashish Shom, and he asked. We will take the questions, but I thought that this question was there in the list. So how, like, do you really believe that one fraternity says zoos are very important, that I believe zoos are important because they are education center. Our first encounter with animals are not in Kaziranga, but in the first encounter with rhino is in zoo. So now the question, but he has put it very nicely and said, like, we are confined for like 21 days, which has now extended for a few more days, like 3rd of May. And this confinement are actually killing us. Everybody is in their home getting bored and all. So animals are also confined, like they have a lockdown for their lifetime, all the zoos animal. So why do you see the bright side and education, and in terms of this ethical, why do you draw a line that makes zoo so important?
If you, I mean, he has asked a very good question. If you ask me, probably, if in India, where we have a lot of wildlife sanctuary and national park, probably we might not need a zoo. That is true. But considering the fact that their resources are dwindling slowly, and it's like humans are expanding, and the wild and the forest areas are slowly coming down. So it's like, and there's going to be a lot of rescue cases. There's going to be a lot of species which might be prone to extinction. It might become extinct in the future. So it is very important, like, we develop a facility where we can house a rescued animal. Sometimes we generally best option is to release back in the wild, but sometimes animals are in uh, probably not fit to be released, either because of injury or some certain cases. So then we have to have a facility to house them. And also, we in for the species which are prone to, which are, which might be in the verge of extinction, it is very important that we learn the captive breeding techniques. We learn how to rear them in captivity. So for example, vulture is one such case. We have vulture population has crashed in 95%, more than 95%. And then there are a lot of conservation breeding centers established through CZA. In one we have in Rani. So they
I
have
know.
learned how to, in fact, breed those vultures. In fact, we have Himalayan griffon, and we are taking consultation from Dr. Sachin Ranade from the Rani the Conservation Institute.
Yes.
We
Yes.
have been successful last 2 years that the birds griffons have mated and they laid egg, but unfortunately that did not hatch. So then we took consultation from him what to do. We gave a different nesting material, different, what how it can be made. And this year, luckily, it hatched, but then it did not survive. But I think this was the first time a Himalayan griffon has hatched. So in fact, that it's, although it is a sad story that it did not survive in the next 2 days. So but then it hatched. So we even preserved that carcass, so that in future we might require it. So we are confident now. Slowly we are now creating a facility which might in fact help the griffons in successfully breeding them. So that's also one aspect of the zoo. Secondly, even about greater adjutant stork, we had taken assistance from Mrs. Purnima Burman. She was a Green Oscar awardee, and it had never hatched. In fact, greater adjutant storks are also, their numbers are very less, probably hardly around 500 to 600 today. So in future, we might not see them if we don't have the conservation breeding, if we don't learn how to breed them in captivity. If we were in a position where it is not at all required to learn breeding in captivity, then we not at all need such thing. But then today I feel, considering the situation, it is very important that we gain expertise in that. So we had taken help from Mrs. Punna Burman also. And today, in fact, we had successfully hatched. In fact, we successfully, it was very successful. And we are now even providing nesting materials for free ranging greater adjutant stock. Today in the zoo we have around 30 free ranging greater adjutants,
Wow.
regularly visiting the zoo. And we have made artificial bamboo platforms for them. We see them nesting in the artificial bamboo platforms inside the zoo in the free ranging areas. So such thing, it's very important. Then again, golden langur, it's an endemic species. It's limited to very limited. It is found only in limited area. So it is very important that we learn how to breed them. And successfully we have bred for the last 2 years. So basically, what we do is, like, I understand, in a confined space animals do get bored. That's why we try to make them interactive. We try to give them Can you hear me?
Yeah. You went out for a second.
So,
Yes.
so these enrichment activities are also very important. And fourthly, what we are doing in Assam State Zoo is that we are not trying to create, especially now, we are not trying to create one enclosure per species. So we are trying to create a habitat. So, for
Correct.
example, we have a walk-in aviary for Asian birds, all the indigenous birds. It's already open now. Now, in the next phase, we are going to create a South American South American facility wherein we'll keep macaws, different species of macaws, and then we'll have Australian where we'll have lories. So it's like we are trying to create this habitat. And also, recently we brought in giraffe. So giraffe came. It was we had to create an enclosure, so it was like urgently we have created one. Now this enclosure is being extended at least, say, 4 times. So now what the plan is that we are going to create a grassland where giraffes and zebras will stay together. Zebras are also ready to come from Mysore Zoo once the lockdown is open. So we're getting a pair of zebras from there, probably 4 numbers of zebra from Israel. if things work out how the plan is. So we are going to place them together. So it's like when even the animals, they should not feel that they should feel that they are in a habitat, although albeit it's small, very small, but then it should still be an habitat. Probably in future also we introduce ostrich. So giraffe, zebra, ostrich, which are naturalistically found in the same habitat, are kept together. So that's how we are trying to create the enclosures in the zoo, so that we are trying our best to make them feel better. But obviously, there is always
True.
a question mark.
So I just add two more. Do you want water? Do you want water?
Thank
so 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 we just discussed zoo as a breeding center, but then there is two more important factors: zoo as an education center and zoo as a rescue center. So we will go to the rescue center last, but as a education center, we because as a child I still remember my first encounter with snakes were in zoo. So or my first encounter with a mugger was in zoo. So what at present, what are the steps that you are thinking about, or in long term you perceive that where students will benefit from natural history? Maybe they can learn natural history, or I know you have some programs where you are internship program, I think you have, which is doing very well. So can you elaborate a bit zoo as an education center?
See, the first level, obviously, when kids come in a zoo, it's like they naturally develop that attraction to the animal, affection to the animal. Just once they develop that affection, that's when they start to love and start to get that connection. And it is very important in future, because we need to have a lot of conservationists in future, because we need to save what we have now already. So it is very important in that way. Secondly, we are encouraging a lot for internship. We are encouraging college students come and serious students who can actually be with the keeper. In fact, they can spend time with our doctors, they can spend time with our keepers. Now, for example, we had a lot of students from even Cotton College, RG Borba College, and then Commerce College. So we had students coming from different colleges. So some we found that at least like say 30% are quite actually serious. So we try to actually attach them to the with the keepers. So then they actually learn on that particular animal. So when they spend on a daily basis about with the animal, they actually learn a lot about the behavior. When you learn a lot about animal behavior, you automatically start to feel that affection. Now we start to feel that there is like no difference. Probably they're just like us, say of less than 10 years age,
Mhm.
just that they don't think like humans, but how we were at less than 10 years age, they're just like
Ah,
us. So
there
then
are
they
few human
automatically
also
start to
who
feel
are
that affection.
in 50s, but they behave like less than 10-year age.
Sorry.
No, no, I told there are many humans who are in their 50s and 60s, but still behave like less than 10 year. That's okay. So my next question, and which is a very serious bit of question, like I need your very important inputs, because many of us are doing certain sort of rescues, and zoo as a rescue center is a very important. And as I see the rescue data sheet of zoo, the number of animals being rescued has gone exponentially up, because we discussed a list that we wanted to make. What and To all the viewers, I want to add some of the interesting facts and figure before I take input from DFO. So uh, the when I started off looking into the database of Assam State Zoo, like which animal, how many animals, and what. So I found that in early 2000, mammals and birds were the animals to be rescued at the peak, and there were no reptiles or very few. And now it is the reptile which are dominating the rescue section. So that gives you idea that the perception has changed. Earlier, what I think, people did not call, they just kill the reptile in the spot. Now because of awareness, they are calling now. But then there is a problem, like they are calling, but sometimes they are calling unnecessarily, where there is no rescue required. So can you just elaborate on the need of rescue and where to intervene and where to leave the animal on its own?
See, rescue also should be a last resort. Rescue, it's a very complicated issue. In fact, you are right. In fact, reptiles, pythons are being rescued the most nowadays. That is very true. So, suppose if it is in a natural habitat, not inside one's house, not inside one's room. So then, if it is going in a drain or if it is going across, if it has an option to go into a habitat where it can be safe, we should just let it go. In fact, we should not even make issue out of it, because a lot of people, when the crowd comes in, everything you know goes haywire, and it automatically gets rescued. One such case I wanted to tell about, even the leopard. As I said, I see Guwahati is a city of hills, so a lot of hills are there in and around, very good forest, and it's a habitat for leopard. It's a natural habitat for leopard, where in Mumbai like city, where hardly there is in Bangalore like city, where hardly there is any forest. It's all concrete. There is still leopards moving around. They have learned how to adjust it to stay with the people. In Guwahati, naturally there are going to be leopards. Leopards definitely know one thing, that for example, if you take Kaziranga, or if you take Manas, where there are Royal Bengal tigers, leopards understand that Royal Bengal tigers are number one and they are number two. So they will never try to have a conflict with Royal Bengal tiger, because they know that if they even come in front of a Royal Bengal tiger, they are only jeopardizing their own safety. So now in Guwahati city, leopards understand that humans are number one and they are number two. They will never even, in fact, that's the reason that you get a lot of calls for leopard rescue. But when you ask them, was there any problem till now? No, absolutely not. Zero problem. It has hardly affected any human. It has picked up dogs, it has picked up goats, sheep, but it has never injured a human. But when it picks up either a dog, or when it picks up when nowadays people have CCTV, so they see leopards obviously move out in the night, so sometimes they see them in the CCTV, or people are sometimes moving in the night, they somehow come across a leopard, they sight a leopard. So then we should not panic. In fact, we know leopard itself understand that people going in the car are supreme, people who are walking are supreme, people are supreme. So that will never come in conflict. Now, for example, now because of public pressure, say we rescue a leopard from an area where it was already settled, where it was hardly creating any problem. Now that area doesn't become leopard free. All right, so there will be another leopard which will definitely come in, because leopard breed very fast. They are territorial. They don't stay in a group. They obviously come to a separate place. So once that area becomes vacant, so leopard see it as an opportunity for a new territory. So in a new territory, leopard will obviously take few months to understand the area. So when someone is not sure of the area, that's when it becomes
Problem.
Dangerous. Once the leopard already which is there settled, which has not caused any harm to human, so then we should not at all rescue. So that's the reason. In fact, we should avoid leopard rescues. Leopard rescue will only create more problem for the people in the locality. A leopard which is already settled, leopards going to be there in Guwahati. It's never going to be leopard free. Leopards are going to be there because it's a very beautiful forest area, very nice patch. Leopards are going to be there and they will never harm. So we should not do that. Even the reptiles, unless it has come inside your house, so we should not try to rescue that, because Guwahati, it's very easy for reptiles to get a space to move out easily, go hide, and it's like survive. It's very easy. So unless it is inside one's house, so it's better to avoid any sort of rescue.
So I'm really, I must say, you have remodeled my thought process by at least this rescue aspect. And I hope the way I have learned by the way you have discussed the rescue process, I think many others can also take a leaf out of it. And most of the time I see many a time these are also press dominated thing, where rescue has been done, and then media coverage has been garnered, and so on and so forth. So I also take the opportunity to tell all the media houses, if they are here and listening. So sometimes the rescue is very good and you can promote the person, but if you promote too much the person who is rescuing, so many person will in name of getting into the media, they can bring a snake from wild and show it that it has been rescued, and this cycle will go on. And rescue is not the only way. Rehabilitation or relocation is another problem. So
Very true.
why to release? Because if you have captured, see, once you have captured a leopard, now you want to, either you have to keep it in zoo or you have to release it. So many people think that it should not be in zoo, but where to release? I will not allow a leopard to be released in my lane. So similarly, other people also have their reservation releasing the animal to the near their vicinity. So where should anyone end up? And if you take it to Kaziranga, you are creating an artificial population surge by creating an imbalance. So tell me a bit about the challenges you face in relocation of animals.
Again, relocation is very we find it very difficult, as you said, because suppose you see, as I said, leopards are very territorial. There is always a leopard in one area, and especially leopards breed very fast. They breed every 3 months. So it's like, and the litter size is almost 3 to 4. So, and these 3 to 4 cubs will obviously have a new territory. So one conception which people have, that if we rescue this, if we trap this leopard and remove it, this area will become leopard free. It is not true. There will be another leopard coming in. You trap that, there'll be another leopard coming in, and it will always be a leopard area. And obviously humans are supreme. Leopard also understand that. So that's why we should never go for trapping or rescuing of this leopard. Normally, one of the biggest challenge what we face is that when we are these are mammals, big mammals. It's like, when you capture them, there is a 50% probability of them being injured. So when they are injured, there are no option for release. So they have to be housed in the, for example, our Assam State Zoo has around 22 leopards. So when you have 22 leopards, it becomes very difficult to even give them sufficient space in the zoo. And that's why, in fact, especially in Guwahati, where it's such beautiful forest, in fact, Guwahati should actually feel proud to be a leopard city. That probably might even
Very
attract
nice.
more tourism. When we are not when leopards are so safe, leopards, I mean, I can guarantee that, I mean, trapping of these leopards.
So, lastly, that before we take questions of people, my last question, that uh, what are the challenges we have told, and we have talked lots good points about zoo and how you came to zoo as a rescue center, captive breeding. Now my question is, as a DFO or the head of director of zoo, what is the most important problem or challenge that you face?
uh, in the zoo, it is, see, challenges are there everywhere. So there are different kinds of there are different kinds. We have less manpower, so probably we are trying hard to create a society where, like in other states, where the revenue can come back to zoo, which can be used for maintenance of the zoo. So sometimes resources might be an issue. Within the available thing, we have been, our people staff have been really doing very well. So in fact, with the staff here, in fact, we have found it really good. In fact, once they are motivated, it's like, initially, obviously, once the motivation level is high, once they are made motivated, it's like they have been really performing well otherwise. So yes, biggest challenge probably crunch of probably resources and manpower. So that might be an issue.
So we'll take some of the comments and questions before we end. And I, from my core of my heart, I want to say it was one of the best explanations in case of rescue and relocation, that it was a
Sorry,
mind
I didn't
opener
get you.
for.
I
So
didn't get you.
it was one of the best explanation regarding rescue and relocation that I think, like me, many others have also benefited. So I'll take some of the comments and questions from the viewers, and then we can wrap this session up. So I'll just take like few of the comments. Debayon says hello, and then we have Joyanto Dash says hello to both of you. Hello, Joyanto. Then Onimesh is from Bangladesh. He is from Bangladesh. He is asking, is there any collaboration between school and zoo to aware student about the nature creation? So I think we have already covered this part, and you can
Yeah,
just tell
we
about.
even have a nature learning center which is built up in with the guidance of Biodiversity Board. So nature learning center, that's another unique part of the Assam State Zoo, wherein it is a school, a nature school, wherein we don't have a class. We have say open amphitheater where the people are told about things, and then they are taken on a small trail where we have a lot of learning. For example, we have a fallen tree where the shoots are going up, so which is a natural way of learning phototropism. So such things we are creating nature learning such things are there in the nature learning center. And we have a dedicated team also working in the Biodiversity Board, so on this with the nature learning center. So regularly students are brought in here, and also branches are also being opened up in different areas of Assam. For example, in Nagaon, and so different areas we are opening that. So students are also brought into the zoo also. So this, I think, this is also one of the interesting part of the zoo. People should, in fact, students should come and explore this. So nature trail with natural aspects to learn a lot of science and other things in the zoo.
So lots of people have said us hello, so we are helloing back to you. And then we go to another question, that is this one. So we have already, I think we have addressed this through the
Yes.
rescue revision, and you have an unit working for that. So then we come to our very lovely Gori. Lovely to see you both.
I
Lovely to see you. Right. Thank you. Then, then Gauri, if you are hearing, I take the opportunity to tell you that I need to call you. I am not getting your network. So this one is Aditya. He says, Tejas sir, are there any future plan of creating a butterfly garden within zoo premise?
Yeah, in the nature learning center, we have plans for creating a natural butterfly garden. It's not going to be enclosure. It's We are going to plant certain species which will attract butterflies. So we are going to create that.
Okay. So then we have this one. Samrat question we have already taken, that vaccine and outbreak. And our dear friend Anirban wrote, "Hi Tejas sir, tell us about your favorite mammal." So you said pulpuli. Bird, you have any opinion about that?
Uh, Favorite mammal definitely is fulfully.
Uh,
Reptile, yes. In fact, Anirban himself was in the zoo, and Mohini probably was the most interesting incident where he called and
uh.
it came to attack him.
And what about bird?
Birds, yeah, we actually we have Macau, and we are trying to find a pair for him. So I think very soon it's going to come from Kolkata. So he is a quite interesting guy.
Okay. So, Devashish, we have already taken your question, and Titir
I
says,
understand, Devashish. Think
uh, Titir Shreya, and then, acha, then there is Shubham Soni. Before you release the animal in wild, what kind of
see,
exercise?
when the rescued animal, when we release immediately. We don't want to have any sort of human imprint. So when in future, whenever we will have say a release of say golden langur into the wild, which is our future plans. Now we have regularly breeding them. Once we cross a particular number, we have plans to do them. Then obviously we will have to do a soft release, as in the area where we have to create a bigger enclosure where there will be no human touch. We'll try to train them to train to live without human surrounding, human interaction. Then only they will be released in the wild.
So, Arpita.
Yes, in fact, we have a proper schedule given by the CZA. Every animal are vaccinated as per that schedule, and in fact, some of them are regularly being done as per the guidelines given by the Central Zoo Authority.
Okay. And Titir wants to express some gratitude. I want to thank Tejas sir publicly today for giving me great opportunity to study the behavior of various animals in zoo. Thanks a lot. You are doing great. So I always thought that publicly we give Mar. She is expressing her gratitude. So so next question. Okay, Titir, we have already done this. There comes Shailendra, my most favorites. Thank you, Shailendra. You need to explain. Are you talking about both of us? Acha.
Mhm.
Then Dr. Rahul says, Tejas sir, is there any
Yeah,
scope of
definitely,
college?
Dr. Rahul. In fact, we encourage them to come and join us as an interns. We in fact make the students connected with our keepers. We actually ask them to spend the time with the keepers, just like what a keeper does. Obviously, with certain restrictions, just to ensure the safety. But spending time with the keeper and observing what he does we can learn a lot. In fact, we are encouraging a lot of students to come and join us.
So he has a
Yes, Mr.
point.
Rahul. In fact, they are in fact very gentle. In fact, uh, they have seen number one species. They have just said hi to you and they went back, so that they just don't want to take any say risk with the supreme species living in Guwahati.
And lastly, we have Gurunath Murthy says, thank you, Tejas sir. So we met Guru, you remember,
Oh
in zoo.
yes.
Yes. So thank you so much. And really, uh, this was amazing for experience for me as well, because we learned about I will tell that animal rescue part was one of the best part that we need to mark with red ink. So thank you for your time, and I hope that we had a, we so
Interacting with you.
so maybe sometime around we can have some other talk where we can have. I wanted, like, in future, if we can have a group chat where we have already discussed with DFO. So maybe people are more interested to know from the horse's mouth, the zookeepers.
Yeah, that will be great.
We can accommodate 5 zookeeper in one talk. We can accommodate, and that we can discuss, and then we can plan it out accordingly. So thank you for your time and effort, and I hope you had a good time. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice speaking.
So
Thank you all.
1 minute, sir. There is one last question that I have to take that recently came before we are going away. So this is the last. Okay, it was not a question. Yeah. So yeah, he emphasized on what you said, and that was really nice. So I am taking leave from all of you, and we had a really great session, and I hope such more session can be there. And thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Take care.